I'm going to try and explain why the title of this video has come about and how it fits into Queen's Market Morecambe Community Interest Company. For the last 6 years I've been working on this project solely alone with just me and my thoughts, and there have been a lot of thoughts. And this is going to be a long-winded account, but I just need to try and get what's in my head out so that people can understand what I'm trying to do. So the reason why the title of this video came about was we're doing an open day and it's towards the run-up of Christmas, and I wanted to do something that was interesting and fitted in with the ethos that I have for Christmas, which is I don't like Christmas. I don't like the commercialism, I don't like the greed and that culture. So I wanted to find something, and I thought long and hard, and I just thought about a tree seed. And from this I was trying to fit in how the tree seed fitted with what we were trying to do with Queen's Market. And I'm really into trees and wood, and I just started thinking about the ancient forest. And before mankind came along and destroyed it, an ancient forest had this micro system that looked after itself. The great oak tree didn't take over. It was controlled by all sorts of other plants, animals taking the acorns, the micro system of the mycelium of the funguses, all interconnected. And it just made me think how this beautiful sort of ecosystem could fit into a business model. So this is how it's fitting in with what we're hoping to achieve with Queen's Market Morecambe. I believe that the business model of today is having the lifeblood sucked out of it by all these multinationals that don't really care about the local economy and the local people. And I believe we need to take that back, and we need to look at that ancient forest and start with the grassroots, the little tiny shops which are like these little microorganisms within that ancient forest that will, as a whole, we can build this amazing infrastructure of business that can take on these big corporates. A little town like Morecambe stands no chance if the generic shops and businesses want to come in, because we're not strong enough, because all the little businesses at the moment are just standalone businesses. But I believe that if we can build Queen's Market Community Interest Company into a business infrastructure where we bring creatives and engineers and everybody together and all the shopkeepers, we can get this really interesting, vibrant business community that can control these big multinationals from coming in and destroying our beautiful little town. I believe that Queen's Market can be that great oak tree in the forest, using the root system to connect all the small businesses in the area and landlords and school groups and community groups, and bring them all together in a way that the ancient forest uses the mycelium to talk to each other. It's just a way that we can connect Queen's Market with all the other businesses, but it's not about taking over those businesses. It's about letting those businesses be their individuals that they are, but helping them grow as a community so that we become strong as a group, just the same as an ancient forest. You know, an ancient forest didn't have one species that took over, because they all managed each other just naturally. And if the great oak had taken over, then none of the other species would have survived. And that oak obviously knew that it needed those species to help it grow, because if it didn't have the other plants that were dying to give it compost and fuel, same as a micro business organism needs all the little organisms to work together. So this is how I came about the idea of the business model for Queen's Market Community Interest Company. So going up more onto the idea of the tree icicle decoration and growing your ideas, it also got me thinking about growth and ideas and how this modern life that we live of 24/7 technology, your child wakes up in the morning and you put them in front of the telly, you push them in the pram and they've got a mobile phone. It's constant information that isn't the right sort of information that a child needs. A child needs to explore, a child needs to be able to imagine, it needs to be able to be bored and just use its imagination. Otherwise, when they get to an adolescent age, how can they explore nature, and if they don't actually know what nature is, if they've never picked up leaves? And I just think the idea of ancient forests and how they work can do so much more for humanity. Who hasn't ever enjoyed a picnic under a tree, or had a house built out of timber which has come from a forest, and played a musical instrument that's made out of a tree? Trees are so important, and it's not just about sucking carbon out of the air. It's about the kicking leaves on an autumn day. It's about seeing the new spring leaves coming out. It's the wealth of art that's come from trees, and the music that they make when the wind blows in them. And we have to look at the ancient forests and take note of how they looked after each other, and do that as a community. And I truly believe that if we take this model of a forest, an ancient forest, and put it into our lives, and when we walk down the street, we smile at people, we say hello, and we can be a better society for it. And I don't think it can happen overnight. I think it could be hundreds of years before society changes back to its organic, natural sort of thinking. But I truly believe that tree seed that is every one of us could be a beautiful forest that saves humanity. Thank you.